This is the Limelight 4-person tent. We finally made it to camp, and I'm not gonna lie, it was a much better day than I expected. It was supposed to pour rain on us all day long, and it barely rained, and even the sun came out. Little pro tip I have for you that I started to do not that long ago is I always bring an extra garbage bag, and every time I have to pack my tent wet, I put it in the garbage bag so it doesn't wet everything else in the bag. This is the Limelight 4-person tent from Marmot that you've seen me put together like 100 times on the channel, but I've actually never talked to you guys about it. So let's put it together, and I want to share with you guys why I think this is a phenomenal tent. And this is what she looks like when she's all up. The Marmot Limelight 4-person pitched in a really cramped spot, but it does show you how versatile this tent is and how you can actually make it work with anything. It is a freestanding tent, and what that means is it basically kind of holds itself up without any stakes, except for the vestibule. They'll need a couple of stakes just to kind of deploy the vestibule, but otherwise it will stand by itself, and that's something I really like about this tent. Another thing about the Limelight 4-person tent that I really like is the material that they're using. This is a polyester tent, and it's just a really robust tent, and this is what I like about it. When I go canoe camping, sure, this is a little heavier. It'll probably run around 8 or 9 pounds for 4 people, so just a little over 2 pounds, but for a canoe camping trip, it's pretty marginal to look at it like that, considering how sturdy and how strong this tent is and how long it'll last you. This is the kind of tent, because the material that we're picked, you're basically gonna pass down to your kids. Unlike ultralight tents where they go with a really thin nylon ripstock, and it'll be much stronger in really tough weather. I mean, I've brought this tent in the mountains of the Adirondacks in the middle of the winter, and it held really well. I do have one ultralight tent, and I really enjoy it, and it's really neat how small it gets and how light it is. But at the end of the day, when you're canoe camping all the time, having a bigger tent like this that's just stronger, that'll just outlast any ultralight tent because the material that's been used, it's really worth considering, because at the end of the day, ultralight gear, as good as it can be, it's certainly not always as strong and as long lasting. And if we want to try to eliminate a little bit of waste, or if you only want to buy one, yeah, this will come with a weight penalty, but more than likely my kids are going to be using this tent when they're older, because this is just how robust and strong Marmot made that tent. Now, one of the things that I absolutely love about this tent is that it has 2 identical and really large vestibule on each side that really allows you to basically put a lot of stuff in there away from the element, your shoes, so that they all stay dry. Considering you can use this up to 4 people, it's nice to have that room. The next few features I'm going to show you guys is really what made the difference as to why I purchased the Limelight 4P instead of his other contender. The first obvious reason is the massive door. We have 2 massive doors, and for me, there's nothing I hate more than trying to get into a tent and cram myself through a tiny little door. The bigger the better, and look at the size of this thing. You can and there's a pocket right here at the bottom, and it comes with 2 different sets of zippers, so you can kind of open it halfway or close it the other way. And this is just really nice to be able to enter your tent and not feel so crammed. The second thing is these guys right here. There's an elbow, a little bit of a kink in the tent pole. And what this does is, if you're the guy sleeping next to the wall, this elbow in the tent pole, it really gives you some good livable space as close as possible to the tent. I mean, I can sit and have my shoulders right next to the tent wall here, and it's actually really comfortable. I don't feel like I'm in a dome where I'm cramped. And this is what makes this tent amazing, because it's so roomy, because you can use the livable space all the way up to all the walls. Just Marmot on that one, that was absolutely amazing. The other thing that really made a difference for me is, where are they? Right here. Is these little light diffusing pockets at the top. This is for you to put your headlamp here basically, and it diffuses the light. And there are two, so one here and one up here. And if you put two headlamps in there, you turn them on at night, it just gives you the perfect amount of light if you want to play cards, read a book, or if you just want to kind of get ready and you don't want to have a headlamp on your head. This is such a nice way to basically repurpose a piece of gear that you already bring, which is your headlamp, put it in that pocket, and it just really gives you a nice light so you can get ready. Now, the next thing that I absolutely love about this tent is also the fact that it's got so many organizational pockets. In total, there are 6 large pockets that you can use to put your stuff sack in basically, or a little bit of your electronics, your glasses, just so to help you kind of organize yourself a little bit. And on top of that, if you wanted to, you can also purchase a gear loft that you can tie to the top 4 corners and basically have a really nice gear loft to organize yourself even better. Next thing for this tent is the clearance. Look at how tall this tent is. Like, I mean, I can change my pants standing up if I want to. I can easily kneel, and I have a lot of clearance over my head. And I'm 5'10". I mean, I know I'm not the tallest guy in the world, but this is a really tall tent. My kids can actually stand in it. And I know that you might think that because it's so tall, it wouldn't handle the weather and the storms or the wind. But honestly, I've never had any problems with this tent. It's really, really sturdy to handle high wind and high rain. Even though it's tall, its profile, just the wind just kind of brushes right over top of it, and it holds its ground really well. The next thing that I really like and appreciate about this tent, and that's something that Marmot does really well, is that it comes with everything that you need. You don't need to buy anything else. It comes with the ground sheet, all the pegs, all the guy lines, everything's in the box, ready to be used as soon as you purchase it. If you are interested in looking into that tent, guys, I'll leave the link in the description below. Maybe you don't need a 4-person tent. The 2-person tent of the Limelight I've also tried is phenomenal, so I wouldn't hesitate at all with that tent. Also, what I typically do when I go on canoe camping trips is I pair this with my Aquaquest guide Tarp to offer me a little bit of a shelter if ever it rains. So I'll leave a video right here if you're interested to check that out. And otherwise, I will see you, as always, in the next video. Peace!